Most men have no idea what a woman's true attraction looks like. They think it's in her words, her compliments, or the way she texts back. They wait, they guess, they overanalyze, and all the while, the truth is happening right in front of their eyes. What if I told you that a woman who is genuinely, deeply attracted to you is constantly giving you signals that most men completely miss? Signals that reveal more about her feelings than anything she could ever say out loud. Signals that, if you notice them, could change everything about the way you understand attraction, connection, and human relationships. In this video, I'm going to show you the hidden signs a woman gives when she's drawn to you, the subtle gestures, the energy, the micro movements that speak louder than words. I'm going to teach you how to see what most men fail to notice, how to understand the unspoken language of attraction, and how to step into a confidence and presence that makes her feel magnetically pulled toward you without you having to chase or convince her. By the end of this video, you'll never look at women the same way again. You'll start noticing signals in front of you that others overlook. You'll understand attraction on a level most men don't even know exists. And you'll finally realize that connection isn't about words, effort, or strategy. It's about awareness, presence, and understanding the truth that's been right there in front of you the whole time. So pay close attention, because what you're about to discover will shock you, empower you, and change the way you relate to every woman you meet. Miss a single detail, and you might never notice these signs again. Watch carefully, and I promise, you'll see her attraction in ways you've never seen before. You see, most men spend their entire lives trying to interpret what a woman says, thinking that attraction is something that is always spoken out loud, something that can be measured in words, compliments, or promises. But here's the truth. Words are cheap, fleeting, and often misleading. What truly reveals a woman's deep attraction to you is not what she says, but what she does. Her actions, her gestures, the way she moves in your presence, the energy she radiates. These are the real indicators of connection, the true language of desire. And the reason so many men fail is simple: they're blind to this subtle language. They listen too much and watch too little. Think about it. Have you ever been in a conversation where everything she says seems polite, neutral, even friendly, but something in her energy, in the way she leans slightly toward you, the way her eyes linger a fraction longer than usual, the way her laughter feels different, tells you something entirely different? That's the moment when you realize attraction doesn't always announce itself in words. It reveals itself in movements, in rhythms, in unconscious gestures that she doesn't even realize she's doing. And that's exactly where the magic hides. When a woman is deeply attracted to you, she behaves differently around you than she does with anyone else. Her body language becomes more open, more inviting, more attuned to yours. You'll notice her subtly mirroring your actions. If you lean forward, she leans forward. If you cross your legs, she might mirror it without even thinking. This mirroring is not a coincidence. It's a primal psychological signal. It's her subconscious showing comfort, interest, and alignment with your energy. This is not manipulation. It is natural human behavior. And when you recognize it, you realize something profound. True attraction speaks a language beyond words. The small, almost imperceptible gestures are the most telling. A woman who is deeply attracted to you will laugh at your jokes, even the ones that aren't particularly funny. But it's not about humor, it's about connection. That laughter is a bridge, a way of saying, without saying, I feel your presence, I enjoy your energy, I want to be near it. You may think it's coincidence, or that she's just being polite, but if you pay attention, you'll see it in the way she tilts her head, the way her eyes sparkle when she smiles, the way she slightly mirrors your expressions. These are not learned behaviors, they are instinctual. They are the body's way of communicating attraction when words are unnecessary. And here's the part that most men miss. They mistake words for truth. A woman can tell you she's just friends or not interested and still behave in ways that betray her true feelings. She might brush her hair behind her ear, adjust her posture, or subtly move closer in a crowded room. These micro signals are often invisible to men who are listening with their ears instead of their eyes. But for the man who watches, who truly observes, they are like neon signs flashing the truth: she is attracted to you. And this is where awareness becomes power. The moment you start seeing what most men don't, the moment you start noticing the difference between words and actions, you step into a level of understanding that changes everything: your confidence, your presence, and your ability to connect on a deep, magnetic level. There's also a philosophical depth to this that most people overlook. Words are linear, structured, easily manipulated. Energy and actions, however, are non-linear, authentic, and difficult to fake consistently. When a woman's actions align with her attraction, it creates a resonance, a rhythm between two people that is impossible to ignore. It's as if the universe itself has whispered a truth that only those who are present, attentive, and awake can perceive. Understanding this is like discovering a hidden code in human behavior, a code that most men never learn to read. And once you do, it transforms the way you experience every interaction. It's also important to recognize that actions can't lie for long. Words can mislead, but actions are persistent. A woman may try to hide her feelings consciously, but her subconscious cannot. Her eyes will give it away, her gestures will betray it, her energy will reveal it. And here's where the real power comes in. When you start focusing on what she does rather than what she says, you stop being manipulated by ambiguity. You stop overthinking, second-guessing, and doubting. You start seeing reality clearly, and in clarity lies power. The power to respond authentically, the power to act confidently, the power to connect in ways most men only dream about. So the lesson is simple but profound. Stop listening with your ears and start observing with your eyes, your intuition, and your awareness. Watch how she behaves when she's around you. Notice the micro gestures, the subtle changes in tone, the shifts in energy. These are the true signs of deep attraction, and once you see them, you gain a clarity that changes everything. Not just in how you perceive her, but in how you perceive yourself, your presence, and your ability to create meaningful connections. In the end, it all comes down to awareness and presence. A woman who is deeply attracted to you is always revealing it, not through rehearsed lines or obvious declarations, but through the truth of her actions, her gestures, her energy, her micro movements. They speak a language older than words, a language that resonates with the deepest parts of who you are. And when you learn to see it, understand it, and act on it, you step into a new level of human connection, a new level of personal power. So pay it closely. Feel deeply. Her actions are telling you the truth, if you have the eyes to see it. And once you do, you'll realize something extraordinary. Attraction isn't something you chase, it's something you recognize. One of the most overlooked signs of deep attraction is the way a woman mirrors your energy. Most men think attraction is something static, something that shows up in compliments, attention, or flirtation. But in reality, true attraction is a dynamic, almost imperceptible exchange. It's not just about her being drawn to your words or your presence. It's about her energy aligning with yours. When a woman is deeply attracted to you, she doesn't just respond, she reflects. She becomes a mirror of your mood, your rhythm, your intensity, your calmness, your playfulness. And this mirroring is not a conscious choice, it's instinctual. It's her subconscious saying, without words, I feel you, I resonate with you, I am drawn to you. Think about it. When you're confident, composed, and present, she leans in slightly, her body language unconsciously matching yours. When you're relaxed and playful, she naturally joins the dance, teasing, smiling, engaging in a rhythm that only the two of you seem to share. She doesn't even realize she's doing it. but you notice it because it's instinctive, authentic, and almost impossible to fake consistently. This is one of the most powerful indicators of attraction that men consistently overlook. While words can be rehearsed, while attention can be feigned, energy is raw and genuine. When she mirrors you, it's a direct reflection of how she perceives you, how she connects to you, and how she is drawn to your presence. What's fascinating from a psychological perspective is that mirroring is rooted in empathy and connection. Humans are wired to subconsciously mirror those we feel aligned with, those we feel safe around, those we feel drawn to. When a woman mirrors your gestures, your tone, your pace, or even your posture, she's sending a signal far more powerful than words ever could. It's a signal of trust, attraction, and deep subconscious alignment. And for a man who can recognize it, who can observe and understand this subtle communication, it opens up an entirely new way of connecting. Suddenly, interactions are no longer guesswork. They become a dance, a two-way energy exchange where both people feel understood, mirrored, and magnetically connected. Consider this: when a woman leans in as you speak, when she laughs in the same rhythm, when her facial expressions reflect yours, these are not coincidences. These are micro signals of alignment. She's matching your frequency without realizing it, creating a resonance that is felt as a pull, a connection, an attraction that transcends words. Most men don't notice this because they are waiting for her to say the right words or make overt gestures of interest. But attraction rarely works that way. It is felt, not heard. It is seen, not told. And energy mirroring is one of the purest forms of this unspoken attraction. There's also a philosophical layer to this phenomenon. Energy cannot be faked consistently. It is the most honest form of human expression. Words can be rehearsed, body language can be controlled, actions can be manipulated, but true energy alignment happens naturally, without effort. When she mirrors you, when she subtly adjusts to match your energy, it is her authentic self revealing a connection that is deeper than surface level attraction. This is why the most magnetic connections often feel effortless. They are grounded not in verbal persuasion, not in surface charm, but in a profound resonance between two people's energy. And the moment you recognize this, you step into a level of awareness and understanding that most men never experience. The way she mirrors you also communicates her attentiveness. When she matches your energy, she is actively participating in the interaction, not passively observing it. Her focus, her engagement, her subtle alignment with your presence, these are unconscious acts that signal attraction more clearly than any direct compliment. And yet, most men miss it because they are conditioned to look for bold signs, for obvious attention, for words that validate. But the truth is, attraction often hides in subtlety. It's in the micro-alignment, the unconscious reflections, the invisible dance that plays out every time you're together. And here's the critical insight: recognizing this mirroring gives you power. Not power over her, but power over understanding, over perception, over presence. When you see her energy reflecting yours, you understand her attraction without her having to say it. You begin to trust your intuition more, to act with confidence, to respond authentically. You stop trying to read ambiguous words and start feeling the truth in her presence. And once you start noticing these subtle patterns, your relationships transform. You become aware of the invisible dialogue happening between two people, the energy exchange that communicates far more than words ever could. But let's not forget the deeper meaning here. This mirroring is not just a biological reflex. It is a mirror of human connection itself. It's how we relate, how we resonate, how we feel understood and seen. When a woman mirrors your energy, it's a profound acknowledgement: you matter, your presence affects me, I am drawn to the frequency you emit. And for those who can observe it, who can honor it, it becomes a tool for authentic connection, for meaningful engagement, and for the kind of magnetic attraction that doesn't fade. So pay attention, observe her energy, notice how she shifts when you shift, Notice how she laughs when you laugh, how her movements follow your rhythm, how her presence resonates with yours. These are not coincidences, they are signals of deep, genuine attraction that most men overlook. And the moment you recognize it, the moment you see her energy reflecting yours, you step into a new level of understanding, a new level of awareness, a new level of connection that is grounded in authenticity, psychology, and the invisible laws of human attraction. In the end, attraction is not about chasing, it is about recognizing, it is not about convincing, it is about observing. When a woman mirrors your energy, she is revealing a truth that words cannot capture. And once you learn to see it, to feel it, to respond to it, you will experience a depth of connection, a level of presence, and a magnetic energy that most men never even know exists. The signs are there. If you have the eyes to see them, the awareness to feel them, and the courage to act on them. And when you do, you realize something extraordinary. True attraction is not spoken, it is reflected. And in that reflection lies power, presence, and a connection that can change everything. When a woman is deeply attracted to you, her body speaks before her words ever do. Her gestures, her posture, the way she moves in your presence. These are not random, they are profound signals of desire, attention, and connection. Most men spend their lives waiting for a woman to declare her feelings, to tell them explicitly that she is interested. And in doing so, they miss the most obvious signs, the ones that are happening in front of their eyes every single day. True attraction rarely announces itself verbally. It's expressed physically, subtly, and often unconsciously. This is why the ability to read her body language is one of the most powerful tools a man can develop. Consider the way her eyes behave. A woman who is deeply drawn to you will look at you in ways that go beyond casual observation. Her gaze will linger a fraction longer than it would with anyone else. It's not about staring, it's about connection. Her eyes are searching for alignment, for resonance, for something she cannot fully articulate. And if you learn to observe this, you will notice a difference between the polite, casual glances she gives to others and the intentional, magnetic focus she directs toward you. This is the silent language of attraction, and it is louder than words. Her smile is another key indicator. Not the quick, polite smile she flashes out of habit or courtesy, but the genuine, almost uncontainable smile that lights up her face when she's around you. It's a reflection of her internal state, an outward expression of pleasure, excitement, and connection. And what's fascinating is that these smiles often appear unconsciously. She doesn't plan them, she doesn't calculate them. They are spontaneous, authentic, and revealing. A woman who is truly attracted to you will smile in ways that make you feel seen, appreciated, and magnetically drawn into her presence. Her gestures, the subtle ways she touches her hair, adjusts her posture, or positions her body, are equally revealing. You might notice that she leans in slightly when you speak, unconsciously closing the physical gap between you, or that she shifts her body to face you fully, signaling attention and interest. Even the smallest movements, the slight adjustments she makes when you're near, are micro indicators of attraction. These gestures are not rehearsed or deliberate, they are instinctive. They are her body's way of broadcasting desire without saying a single word, and most men miss this entirely because they are conditioned to look for verbal signals instead of observing the silent, physical cues that matter most. Laughter is another element that cannot be overstated. When a woman is deeply attracted to you, her laughter becomes more than a response. It becomes a tool of connection. She laughs in a way that mirrors your energy, that resonates with your presence. It's not about whether the joke is funny, it's about the exchange, the shared rhythm, the subtle signaling that says, I enjoy being near you, I feel safe, I feel drawn to you. Laughter is a physical expression of alignment, an instinctive manifestation of attraction, and when you start noticing the difference between casual laughter and laughter that is connected to your energy, You will begin to understand the depth of her attraction in ways words could never convey. Even the way she occupies space tells a story. A woman who is attracted to you often gravitates closer, not in an overt or desperate way, but naturally, subtly, without thinking. She may shift her chair, angle her body, or unconsciously position herself near you. This is an unspoken invitation, a physical acknowledgement of the pull she feels. And when you become aware of it, when you recognize that these actions are consistent, patterned, and instinctual, you realize that attraction is not about what is said, but about what is enacted through presence and movement. There is also a psychological principle behind all of this. Humans are wired to communicate through body language long before we can articulate our feelings verbally. Attraction, connection, desire, these are experienced first as energy, and the body expresses them before the conscious mind catches up. When a woman is drawn to you, her subconscious mind is constantly sending signals through her posture, gestures, and expressions. It is the mind's way of negotiating attraction without interference from conscious fears or social rules. This is why the men who can read these signs become rare and powerful. They are able to understand connection on a level that goes beyond surface-level conversation. Philosophically, this teaches a deeper truth about human relationships. Words are often inadequate carriers of truth. People can say many things for countless reasons: politeness, habit, social expectation. But actions, movements, and physical cues are much harder to manipulate consistently. When you learn to read these signals, you gain clarity, insight, and the ability to perceive attraction authentically. You are no longer dependent on verbal affirmations. You see the reality of her feelings through what she is physically expressing in your presence. The most important takeaway here is that action is truth. When a woman is attracted to you, she is constantly revealing it, whether through the way she moves, how she positions herself, how her eyes engage, or how she laughs. And these signals are not subtle tricks. They are honest, primal expressions of desire. They are patterns that anyone willing to observe closely can see, understand, and respond to. Once you begin to notice these cues, you stop guessing, stop doubting, and start acting with confidence, clarity, and authenticity. So pay attention. Notice the lingering glances, the subtle smiles, the micro movements, the gestures of attention and alignment. Learn to see her attraction not in her words, which can mislead, but in her actions, which are consistent, persistent, and true. And understand this: the woman who is deeply attracted to you is always revealing it in front of you. If you have the eyes to see it, the awareness to feel it, and the courage to act on it, you will unlock a depth of connection, magnetism, and understanding that most men never even recognize exists. In the end, attraction is not something you hear, it is something you observe. It is not something you are told, it is something you feel. And when you start noticing the truth in her actions, you step into a new realm of confidence, clarity, and connection, one where presence speaks louder than words, and subtle gestures reveal more than any declaration ever could. Connection, real, magnetic, undeniable connection, is not something that is forced. It's not about trying to impress, overthinking what to say, or attempting to manipulate a situation. It's something that emerges naturally when energy aligns, when presence is authentic, and when attraction is mutual. And one of the most profound signs that a woman is deeply attracted to you is how effortlessly she gravitates toward that connection. She doesn't push, she doesn't force, she doesn't try to manufacture interest. Instead, she reflects it, she participates in it, she becomes part of it. There's a natural pull between two people when attraction is genuine, and understanding this is key to recognizing the depth of her feelings. Most men are conditioned to think that attraction is a game, a puzzle to solve, or a goal to achieve. They believe that a woman's interest must be earned through effort, persuasion, or constant validation. And while effort and respect are important in any relationship, true attraction is not transactional. It is instinctual. It is an unconscious acknowledgement of alignment. When a woman is genuinely drawn to you, she participates in a connection that feels effortless. She matches your energy, she engages in dialogue without pretense, and she allows the natural rhythm of your interaction to guide the exchange. This is why the most magnetic connections often feel easy or effortless to the man who notices them. They are the product of authenticity, not performance. The concept of effortless connection also has a psychological basis. Human beings are wired to respond to authenticity. We sense incongruence at a subconscious level. We feel when someone is performing, overcompensating, or trying too hard. But when a woman is attracted to you, she doesn't need to perform. Her body, her attention, her energy are naturally attuned to yours. She laughs in sync with your rhythm. She leans in when your energy is calm and present, and she responds instinctively to your presence. There is no calculation, no strategy, just alignment. And this alignment is far more telling than any words she could say. It is a pure, unspoken confirmation of interest that transcends surface level interaction. Think about the times when conversations flow effortlessly, when the words are not the focus, but the feeling is. When laughter comes naturally, when pauses are comfortable, and when energy shifts subtly but consistently toward connection. These moments are windows into the depth of attraction. A woman who is genuinely drawn to you will participate fully in these moments without needing to orchestrate them. She mirrors your presence, engages with your energy, and contributes to a rhythm that feels magnetic. And the men who understand this realize that connection is not created through effort. It is recognized through awareness. Philosophically, this reveals a deeper truth about human interaction. Life is not about forcing bonds, it is about noticing resonance. Attraction, at its core, is a dance of energy. It is not performed, it is experienced. When a woman is attracted, she naturally aligns with your energy, creating a magnetic pull that is felt as a subtle but undeniable force. And when you notice this, when you tune into the rhythm of her presence, you begin to understand the nature of connection itself. It is not about words, status, or achievements. It is about presence, authenticity, and energy. Effortless attraction also teaches a lesson about patience and observation. Many men become anxious when connection is not overt, when interest is not shouted across a room, or when signals are subtle. But attraction that is deep and real does not need to shout. It is persistent in its consistency, subtle in its delivery, and honest in its expression. A woman who is genuinely attracted to you will demonstrate it in ways that are repeated, reliable, and natural. She will participate without prompting. She will mirror without thought, and she will engage without performing. And recognizing this is a mark of awareness, a recognition that true connection is something you experience, not something you demand. This understanding also empowers you as a man. When you realize that attraction is effortless, that deep connection does not require manipulation, you step into a new level of confidence. You stop overanalyzing, second-guessing, or chasing validation. You begin to trust your instincts, observe the signals in front of you, and respond authentically. You become present in a way that allows connection to flourish naturally, and in doing so, you elevate every interaction to a level of clarity, magnetism, and understanding that most men never reach. There is also a subtle, almost spiritual dimension to this phenomenon. When energy aligns naturally, it feels inevitable. It feels as if forces beyond the conscious mind are at play, creating harmony without effort, resonance without calculation. And this is the moment when attraction becomes undeniable. A woman who is deeply drawn to you participates in this energy exchange instinctively. She does not have to convince herself, she does not have to prove anything, and she does not have to overthink. Her presence, her engagement, and her alignment with your energy speak volumes louder than words ever could. The takeaway is simple but profound. Real attraction cannot be forced. Connection cannot be manufactured. A woman who is truly attracted to you will participate naturally in the energy between you, creating a magnetic pull that is felt long before it is spoken. And the moment you recognize this, you stop relying on words, tactics, or performances to gauge interest. You begin to see the truth in her presence, the depth in her attention, and the authenticity in her alignment. This is the clarity that transforms not only how you perceive attraction, but also how you experience it. So pay attention. Notice the way she participates in connection without trying. Observe the effortless alignment, the natural mirroring, and the authentic engagement. Feel the rhythm of her presence and recognize the truth it conveys, because the woman who is deeply attracted to you does not force connection. She gravitates toward it, she reflects it, she participates in it. And when you see this clearly, when you act with awareness and presence, you unlock a level of connection, confidence, and magnetism that most men never even know exists. In the end, the lesson is this: attraction is not a puzzle to solve, a game to play, or a prize to win. It is a natural, effortless exchange of energy, presence, and alignment. When a woman participates in this effortlessly, she is revealing the depth of her attraction. And the moment you recognize it, understand it, and act in harmony with it, you step into a power and presence that changes the way you connect, the way you relate, and the way you experience human interaction forever. The final truth I want to leave you with is this: awareness changes everything. Once you learn to see a woman's attraction through her actions, her energy, her mirroring, her gestures, and her effortless connection, you step into a reality most men never experience. Most men live in a state of confusion, overanalyzing words, doubting signals, and second-guessing themselves. They wait for her to explicitly say, "I like you," or "I'm attracted to you," and in doing so, they miss everything that is happening right in front of them. But the moment you become aware, truly aware, you realize that attraction is not a mystery. It is a language, a set of patterns, a series of unspoken truths that reveal themselves to the man who is awake enough to notice. Awareness begins with observation. It begins with the simple act of paying attention. Notice the micro signals, the lingering glances, the subtle touches, the shifts in energy that align with yours. Notice how she mirrors your movements, how she laughs in sync with your energy, how she leans in, subtly closing the space between you. These are not coincidences, nor are they trivial. They are the body's natural expression of attraction, broadcast before words can form, before conscious thought can interfere. And when you start observing these patterns consistently, you begin to understand a profound truth. Attraction is not something you have to guess. It is something you can see, feel, and respond to. But awareness is more than just noticing. It is understanding. It is recognizing the psychology behind these signals and the philosophy that underpins human connection. Every gesture, every subtle adjustment, every micro movement is part of a conversation that doesn't need words. The body communicates what the mind cannot always articulate. A woman who is deeply attracted to you will express it unconsciously because her attraction exists in the realm of instinct and emotion long before it reaches the level of rational thought. Understanding this gives you clarity. It allows you to trust what you see rather than questioning everything you hear. It allows you to step into interactions with confidence instead of uncertainty. There is also a philosophical depth to this awareness. Life is full of signals, subtle energies, and unspoken truths. Most people live distracted, focused on the obvious and the loud, missing the invisible currents that shape reality. Human attraction works the same way. It is often quiet, subtle, and overlooked, but it is persistent, authentic, and revealing. A woman who is truly drawn to you cannot hide her attraction completely. It manifests in consistent patterns of action, energy, and attention. And when you notice these patterns, you gain access to a truth that most men never perceive. Attraction is not a battle, a game, or a mystery. It is a natural exchange that can be observed, understood, and honored. This awareness also empowers you to act with authenticity. Once you recognize her attraction, you no longer have to perform, guess, or manipulate. You no longer have to overthink every word or reaction. You begin to respond naturally, guided by the signals in front of you. You begin to move in harmony with the energy she is giving, creating a rhythm that feels effortless and magnetic. And this is where the transformation happens, not just in how she perceives you, but in how you perceive yourself. Confidence is not just about words or status, it is about understanding, presence, and clarity. The man who sees clearly acts with ease, presence, and authority because he is no longer caught in the fog of uncertainty. Awareness also teaches patience and discernment. Attraction is rarely instantaneous or obvious. It is subtle, often masked by social norms, shyness, or self-consciousness. The woman who is deeply attracted to you may not shout it from the rooftops. She may not give overt signs. But if you pay attention, if you are truly present, you will notice the repeated signals, the alignment of energy, the patterns of action that reveal her true feelings. And understanding this allows you to move through interactions with wisdom, recognizing what is real and ignoring what is performative or superficial. It gives you the ability to respond rather than react, to act with intention rather than impulse, and to create connection based on truth rather than assumption. There is also a profound psychological insight here. Awareness of attraction allows you to step out of the endless loop of doubt and confusion that traps most men. When you learn to read her energy, her gestures, her mirroring, and her body language, you begin to operate from a place of knowledge instead of uncertainty. You begin to see patterns where others see ambiguity. You begin to trust your intuition because it is informed by observation. And as your awareness deepens, you begin to experience attraction, not as a puzzle to solve, but as a living, dynamic, and observable force that you can navigate with confidence and clarity. The ultimate power of this awareness is that it transforms your presence in every interaction. You no longer approach connection with anxiety or doubt. You approach it with clarity, confidence, and authenticity. You become the kind of man who notices the subtle signs, understands their meaning, and responds in a way that is natural, magnetic, and aligned with the truth of the interaction. And this is the rare power that most men never achieve: the ability to perceive attraction accurately, respond authentically, and create connection effortlessly. So pay attention, observe the patterns, notice the micro signals, the gestures, the energy, and the subtle signs that she is drawn to you. Understand them, trust them, and act in harmony with them, because the woman who is deeply attracted to you is constantly revealing it in front of you. Her actions, her energy, her alignment, her presence, they are all pointing to the same truth. And when you finally become aware of this truth, when you finally see what most men miss, you unlock a level of clarity, confidence, and connection that can transform not only your relationships, but the way you experience yourself in the world. In the end, the lesson is clear: attraction is not about guessing, chasing, or overthinking. It is about seeing, understanding, and acting with awareness. The woman who is truly drawn to you is constantly revealing her feelings, not with words, but with energy, actions, and alignment. And when you recognize it, honor it, and respond authentically, you step into a level of human connection, presence, and personal power that most men only dream of.